Psychologists Lisa Firestone and Joyce Catlett say women today, especially young women, are faced with an even greater emphasis on beauty than ever before.
There's so many images in our society. I mean, I think you're just bombarded with how you're supposed to look. And nobody looks like that. I mean, half of the people in magazines are airbrushed to look that way. I mean, you know, so it creates this image that we can't live up to. Yeah. So we're always falling short.
What role do you think beauty pageants may play in that?
Well, I think it's just another, you know, it's one more example of all these, you know, women get up and they've, you know, nowadays it's not only that they look perfect, but they also have accomplished all these things and have all these ideals and all of that. And, you know, for young girls, they may have a really hard time thinking that they're never going to live up to that.
Can we back up a little bit and talk about some of the telltale signs of depression, of suicidal tendencies, and at what age do you see these manifesting?
Well, it can happen at any age, really. And we here in Santa Barbara had some 15 to 19-year-olds that ended up in the hospital with suicide attempts and some completed suicides in that age group. So it's a phenomenon that can happen very young, even though the highest suicide rates are for the elderly. And that's the people we're the most concerned about.
How do you detect that something is truly wrong versus just the normal, you know, ups and downs of teenagehood?
Sure, because a lot of how teenagers act can look like depression. But when your teenager is losing interest in the activities they used to love to do, so they're not that they're resistant to getting up to go to school in the morning, which they may have never liked to do, but they're resistant to getting up to go out with their friends. They're not caring about their appearance. Maybe their moods are swinging radically from being, you know, very high and very happy to being very depressed and down. They're having trouble eating, either eating too much or eating too little, sleeping too much or sleeping too little. They're talking about death. If your young person is saying anything about suicide or saying things like, you'd be better off if I wasn't around, I'm such a burden, I make people feel bad, nobody cares about me, it's time to do something.
Most people are aware or familiar with self-critical thoughts that they have on some level, but people are so much unaware of how much this negative thought process and these negative attitudes toward themselves and towards other people, how much this is affecting their life, or how much it is really directing their life. And we consider it like an internal enemy. It's opposed to a person's self-interest. Mm-hmm. It's essentially what you're telling yourself about different events, giving them a negative slant. So really, it's not so much what we hear from the outside that's ruining our lives, or what our partner is saying to us in a relationship. It's what we're already thinking about inside ourselves.
It's from inside ourselves.
That's right.
Where it's a real exchange, an extension of affection and caring about the other person, and where you're both really present and making contact with each other. That means that you're really there to both accept pleasure being given to you and be willing to accept that, but also to give pleasure, that it's an exchange. There's a give and take to it. A lot of people who are defended psychologically don't really want to let the other person in. They feel like if they get pleasure from the other person, then they're going to need the other person, and they don't really want to need that other person. Or that if they really give freely of themselves, that somehow they're going to be taken advantage of or hurt. In an ideal relationship, people are open, first of all. So they're willing to hear feedback from their partner. There's a million ways we tell our partner we're not really interested in feedback and shut them down. But you look for the kernel of truth in what they have to say as opposed to the flaws around the edges. In an ideal relationship, we're honest. And to really be honest, you have to know yourself. And we have integrity. Our actions match our words. So if we say we love the person, there's actually some actions that an outside observer could see that are loving. We show care and concern toward the person. We actually do things with them. We have fun with them. You know, there's something.
For a walk on the beach.
Yeah, that walk on the beach is a really good one. Listening to music together, whatever it is, there's some shared activities. Mm-hmm. You can't have a relationship in a vacuum.